happy first full week of September. It's been a while since I've picked up the camera and given you guys an update on what's going on in our life, but there's been a lot. So I'll walk you through a few things and what we're actually hoping to get accomplished in the month of September. As always, I don't know what's going to happen because God always has different plans than we do, but I also know it's going to be good, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be Jesus honoring. So we'll start with the update of we now have 3 ducks and the chicken pen needs some work. The goal for September in the chicken pen is going to be just knocking down all these weeds that we can't use for feed for them and putting maybe some mulch in here or something just to give it a nice solid ground for the winter. During the wintertime, chickens will go outside, but you have to have a layer of straw or mulch or something on top of the snow to give them a space where their feet aren't wet. So by having mulch that is composting, it keeps the ground a little warmer and so the snow melts faster. The next area is babies. We are completely done with any chicks for the year. Wave, guys.
I'm fishing on their island.
Whoa. I have wrapped up the pens, put them away. We now just have to move them to where they will start for next year, which will be way over there, and we'll just move them slowly down as we have the different batches of chicks. The garden is pretty much wrapped up for the year as far as the big section. None of my winter squash ended up growing correctly. I believe it was the flooding and then also the lack of time management on my part. I just didn't have the time to put into it like I thought I was going to, but we adjusted, we changed it, and I now know that I'll have to edit how I'm going to do my garden next year, making note of the changes that we'll need to have for next year to have a successful garden and a successful summer garden season. The fall garden is actually growing really well, and I'm very excited about that and what we're going to get from that. I'll show that to you in a minute. Next update is in the turkeys. So one of the things we need to do is get the turkey pen completely ready for winter. I have made a decision with my mobile pasture pen that I am not going to have it mobile anymore. I know it's kind of a strange thing to have a mobile pen, not mobile, but during the summer months, my husband is so busy, he doesn't have the time to move it with the tractors, and so I don't end up getting it moved when I need to. The thought process is I can deep bed this, clean out the deep bedding every few months, and then have pasture with electronet, switch it back and forth between the two sides. The bonus for me is that it's less work on my part versus having to move it every 4 weeks. If I move it every 4 weeks, sure, they get a new pasture and they're completely contained, but they don't get the vast area to run around in. Turkeys need space. That's just, they're big, they like space, they like roosting, they like doing all the things, and they'll get all their space to roost up above while still having some ground space and then pasture space that is completely separate from one another. So the idea for the winter is we'll cover this, we'll get it completed, and hopefully that'll be happening in the next couple weekends. Our lovely orchard here is our next update. We need to actually, I'm going to today, right now, move this current turkey net over to here, and we're gonna let the turkeys just eat down all this delightful pasture. We need to get the T-posts up and the trellis going to get this to what my husband's idea was with our orchard. We will walk you through that in a separate video when he's putting up the trellising, and we'll have him explain to you exactly what he is doing and why he is doing it. But for now, the trees are in the ground, which is a huge hallelujah. I was not sure we were going to get that done in time, and they don't seem to have too much shock or burn on them from not being in the ground, and we've even seen some new growth since they have gotten in. All positives and very good. The last animal on our list is the rabbits. Now, we had a realization that we like doing rabbits. I learned how to butcher a rabbit a couple weeks ago, and I realized it was much less messy than the chickens, like 100% less messy. So we've made the decision to grow our rabbit herd, flock, contingency. I don't know what it is. We're gonna make an actual colony, and we are going to do an outdoor colony space with 3 to 4 does and a buck. We have the buck. We were given a couple of American chinchilla rabbits that we are going to breed, and we're going to put their colony space in our feed area here, which also doubles as a doghouse. So I've taken one of the runs in the doghouse and I've completely wired it up appropriate for rabbits on the outside, given them a space where they can dig in a material and run around like rabbits would naturally in the wild. We're also going to make an indoor space for them to have their kits, have nest boxes and all the things inside, a couple of different levels that will get them ready for winter and give them the appropriate winter space that they need to be able to survive here in Michigan where it's cold. My hope is also to get this done in the next couple weeks. Our family is ready to have everything kind of streamlined and good for winter so that when we come out to do chores, we have 3 spots we have to go. We have to go to what we call the dog house, which may become the rabbit house. It also stores our feed. We can go in there, take care of the rabbits, get the feed for the chickens and turkeys, go out, take care of the chickens, and then out to the turkey pen, which will all be in the same area. It just streamlines the process so that we're not going back and forth to all these different little pens trying to get things ready to go for multiple sets of rabbits who are in individual pens, multiple chicken pens. It's just 3 places. Because once winter hits, it is no fun to be outside doing chores in a blizzard. Now, I know that's not our typical every single day winter here in Michigan, but it does happen. And we will have a week, usually in February or March, where it will be so snowy and so nasty that not even my younger kids who love snow want to go outside. So let's talk a little bit about a family update now. Our family is almost done with blueberry season. This week is kind of the wrap-up week for all the things. The deliveries are going out, so we should be seeing more of my husband. He runs a ridiculous schedule during the summer where he is basically gone all the time. I always tease that he's deployed to the farm. It will be good to have him back and have him a part of our lives a little bit more, and hopefully we'll be able to take some really good family time, get back into the groove of being a family of 7 again. The kids have started doing full-time school now. It is homeschool, but what I consider full-time school is we've got our full schedule going. They get up, they have their checklist of things that they need to do and get done during the day so that they can accomplish their chores, their responsibilities, and their school. It's been a little busy around here. The other big news we have is we are in the process of adopting our 5th child. It was kind of a big surprise to us. We didn't know what God had planned, but our youngest one seems like she'll be staying, and we're all ridiculously excited, and I hope one day that I can share that story with you guys and what God's doing. Now, when I say in process, I do mean that it may not happen. And we are just praying that if this is what God has for us, that it will happen and He'll make it come through. Like I said, we'll be able to share more of that and what that looks like in the next coming weeks with you guys. And you guys can be praying along with us that if this is God's will, that this will be happening. Like I said, we are ridiculously excited. I cannot put out there how excited I am. When we adopted our current youngest 2, we had said, okay, God, if you have more kids for us, then you're going to have to bring them to our doorstep. And He literally did. Just by praying that the process goes smoothly and we don't run into any bumps along the road so that we can settle into being the family of 7 that God has made for us to be. This is one of our fall crops. I planted beans and am so excited to report that there are flowers. Very excited about that. The rest of the garden isn't looking as good just because we are winding down the season. I mean, you can see just stuff is kind of dying in its places. I have moved everything to raised boxes. If it's not in a raised box, it's not planted. We do have some flowers still. Absolutely love these. The kids planted these. They had a grand time with it. We also got some zucchini planted. And again, we've got little zucchinis. I am so excited about this. I wasn't sure if we'd eat any zucchini this year just because it didn't grow right. And it was a combination of negatives that led us to that. And we also have quite a few pole beans that have been planted for the winter season that are coming and ready. And ones that we still have growing here on the trellises. I will say that these red noodle beans have been my favorite bean that we've planted this year. They're just delicious and they're amazing in stir fries. My kids love stir fries, so it makes it fun to cook them. You just chop them up, and we've had quite the harvest from them. It's been really good. The tomatoes are winding down. You can see they're completely overgrown here. This is our last batch of tomatoes. We've got quite a few green ones on here, and so we'll just enjoy them while they're still producing. But I don't know, nothing like a fresh tomato from the garden. So juicy. I planted peas in this, and then the turkeys escaped and ate off all the tops of the peas. I have seen a few shoots come up, so hopefully it will be full of peas in another few weeks, and we will be able to start harvesting those in October sometime. That's all for this week. Thank you for coming along with me and hearing about our updates to our life and the things that we're hoping to do in the month of September. I will keep you guys updated as to what is going on and bring you along on things that I can. Until next week.